week's episode of Chasing the Whimsy.
I'm your host, Liam.
And I'm your host, Ben. What edition is it?
CarCast 2.
CarCast. Alright. So what is a CarCast episode?
So this is basically kind of an episode where I kind of run the show. And, no, I kind of...
And we're recording in the car.
And I did, yeah, and I record in the car. But today is kind of a cool episode, but also might get a little serious.
Okay, maybe.
So I was watching a comedy special this week with Gabriel Iglesias, Fluffy.
Yes. I like him.
Yeah. I also like how he's not like a political joker.
And he doesn't swear that much.
Yeah, no.
I like him. He's a good guy.
Yeah. So I was listening to that. The newest, the LA show, the Dodger Stadium. He basically was talking about a breakup that he just went through, and said something along the lines of, I was in the car, and I usually don't like country music.
Okay.
But I feel like there's always a song that speaks to you. It's like, it knows the situation you're going through. And that's how he put it.
Okay.
And it got me thinking, because we were listening to music today, you said something along, like, when you're listening to a song, you'll probably go over it. And the song was basically like, this changed my perspective of things and made me view things a different way.
Yeah, kind of like that. What's like, because I have a couple of things, right, where, like Gabriel Iglesias said, was, like, it was that one song you needed at that one moment that you were kind of at, like, a low.
Mm-hmm.
So, am I going to start first?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, do you have more?
Yeah, I did, but you know,
okay. One of mine, not so much a song, but there's a book. Well, I do have a song, but the first one is a book called Siddhartha. Have you ever read it?
Never heard of it.
I think it was Herman Hesse, 1928. Maybe. I could be wrong on the year, but I think it's Herman Hesse. But this book is one that I go back to, like, I try to read it every year. I read it every other year at least. Quick breakdown of it, right? Boy tells his dad, he's like, I don't want to be what you do. I want to be my own man. So he goes on this journey of self-discovery. And he's like, he ends up going, he meets up with some people who teach him how to, like, fast, stay awake, and he doesn't want to do that, so he goes to somewhere else. He looks a little bit poor, right? Because he doesn't need anything. He's like, I don't need anything. I just need, me, and I'm happy. Eventually, he meets a girl, and the girl's like, well, I don't date fucking dirty-looking poor people. So he's like, all right, if that's what, like, if I need to improve myself in a different way, I can do that. So he meets, like, a guy who teaches him business because he can read. And he's good at math, so, he's able to start a business. But then he goes out with the girl, then he doesn't go out with the girl. But it's a fascinating book, and I'll probably go over it one day, a little bit deeper. But it's one of those books, right, that every time I reread it, it helps me kind of put things into perspective of, like, life and what's going on in life. And it's interesting because I've probably read it like 6 or 7 times. And every time, like, I'm struggling. If I'm like, either I'm down or I'm just trying to, like, figure out what to do next in life, I read the book, and then I find something new. Every time I read it, I find something new. And it just kind of helps change my perspective on life and what's next. And I think kind of like now, it's the idea of the reinventing of yourself. Of like, you don't have to be this one thing. You can find something else that you love, and then do that. So, um, so I'm gonna probably reread it again this year and see what else it says to me. But Siddhartha, Herman Hesse. You got your phone out? You looking it up?
No.
Can you spell Siddhartha?
Siddhartha.
It's an Indian book. It's fascinating. It's a short book. It's not real big. I think it's like 80, like 115 on the pages. But yeah, Siddhartha. It got me. A friend suggested it to me when I was kind of like all over the place in life. And the first time I read it, I was like, oh, I get it. I know what I need to do. I know what I want to do with life. And every once in a while, ups and downs. Anytime I'm in a down or a stall, I reread it. What do you got?
Well, the first one I have is a movie.
Movie?
What's it called? Of course I do this now. It's a wrestling movie.
Wrestling?
Yeah.
Who's in it?
Hang on.
Is it the wrestler? Foxcatcher? Iron Claw? While he's looking it up, I'm just gonna name all the wrestling movies that I can think of.
Vision Quest.
Oh, Vision Quest. Okay. Who's in that?
Oh, that's not right.
What year was that?
85.
Whoa, that's an oldie. Okay.
Loudon. Matthew. Modine.
Okay.
Well, it's a movie. That he's like not the best wrestler, right? And he has to cut weight in a very short amount of time, and has to lose 20 pounds. He wants to face the defending state champion. I forget what his name is.
Is it high school wrestling?
Yes.
Okay, so it's like an old high school movie?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of what the guy's name is. It's like.
Oh, based on a true story?
No.
Oh, okay.
Shoot. His name's Shoot.
Okay.
And he also finds a girlfriend. And at the time, I was just like kind of starting wrestling, and I was just getting into it.
Now, how did you find the movie? Were you looking for wrestling movies, getting ready and getting pumped, or did you just kind of scroll and it just fall into your feed?
David showed me it.
Okay.
So I'm probably not explaining it right, but this did change my perspective of things. And trying to, not losing himself, like with his girlfriend. Like, you need to have like a thing with, I'm still a good person without wrestling. With or without wrestling. And like, wrestling is not your personality. And it's funny, like I got Truman Show.
Nice.
My coach, the week after that, said something like, I don't care how good of a wrestler you are, I care how good of a person you are.
He probably watched the same movie. Did you ask him if he saw that movie?
He's a wrestling coach. He's watched every wrestling movie. But then, like, he thinks that he can, like, reach the goal alone. But obviously you can't. And that was, like, the time when I was like, I don't need anyone else on my journey. Kind of cocky.
Okay.
Like, I'm the best. Like, I only need myself to be the best.
I don't need no girlfriend because you're just going to be in my way. You're going to get in the way of me succeeding in wrestling.
Kind of, yeah. But then, you know how the movie goes. He beat the high school guy, and like, it's a thing that like he was an underdog. Not even like, no one thought he was good enough to even win against the defending state champion, the best wrestler in the state. And he did it.
Did he end up with the girl?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's one of those good movies.
It's a Rocky movie.
Okay.
But at the time, it just spoke to me because, like I said, I was like, just started to do wrestling. No, not just started. Maybe like a year in.
Okay.
And I was like, I was like, it was what I needed at the time.
It was like that point when you started phasing more out of like the baseball and really focusing on like wrestling could be a thing.
Yeah.
Wrestling isn't just a replacement for. Oh shoot! Hold on. I got cars. We have cars. This is CarCast. I didn't know how to get around this semi. It was killing me. And what was the name of that movie?
Vision Quest.
And where can I watch it? Is there anywhere, like, is it streaming anywhere? Because I'll watch it tonight.
Yeah. Hang on.
Probably a Prime. Prime seems to have all those old movies. Ooh, maybe a HBO.
Amazon Prime.
Okay. All
You
right.
have to buy it. Just buy it on Apple TV for $2.
Is it a buy or rent?
Buy.
All right. Buy it. All right, you can do that. $3.
Yeah, that's it.
It's a good movie.
You haven't even seen it.
No, but it sounds good. I wish there was more like bowling movies. Like,
All right.
because like when I was real big into bowling for a minute, and like I just needed if I had a movie like that, I could have been like, you know what, I'm not going to go back to college, in which I didn't do anything with it.
Is there a country song about podcasting?
Right? Yeah. Hey, anybody, leave in the comments if there's a podcasting like anthem song. I don't think there is. Whatever. I'm gonna make one then. Have J Sarge write me one. All right. So. All right. So my second one is an album that. So okay, I'm gonna paint the picture a little bit, right? We got a little bit of time. 2002, I think.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
Go a long way to my house.
Okay.
Take some weird turns, accidentally turn, make a wrong turn.
Okay. All right. Deal. I think it's 2002. Look it up. Gray Street. What year did it come out? So 2002, July 17th. Just graduated high school in 02. Yeah, so I just graduated. Me and the ex at the time, or the girlfriend at the time. You know, I mean, like you're 18. You just graduated 2003. Two. You know, I was 18. I didn't know what I was doing. She was 18. She didn't know what she was doing. We didn't know what we wanted to do moving forward. I think we were kind of been going in different directions. And there was a big fight between the two of us. Like, I hate you. No, I hate you. I hate your mother. But it was one of those fights, one of those screaming fights. And I don't like those. I don't like screaming fights. Like, they don't make you feel good. And then it's like, I don't know. But I ended up picking up Dave Matthews Band, Busted Stuff, the album Busted Stuff. And I think I had a Walkman at the time, like a little Discman. And I throw it in there, and I end up listening to this whole album from start to finish for like almost like 2 or 3 full runs, like straight through. And it was weird because a lot of the songs were like, it's like one of the songs, I think, Gray Street, right? There's some loss. There's loss, and then you have the one song, You Never Know, where it just talks like about being excited for the unknown. Like, you just don't know what's happening, and you should be excited for it. And there's a couple of other really good songs on it, but I sat there on the sidewalk listening to this song in the middle of the night, just trying to like calm down and not be so angry. And yeah, for the after listening to it, changed my entire perspective on the relationship, what I wanted to do like next. Um, Maybe not so much what I want to do next. I ended up doing the same thing for the next like 2.5 years. Um, but I was able to kind of like refocus on like the relationship a little bit, but not like freak out if things weren't going, a certain way. Uh, but it's a fantastic album. It did like movie sales, and it was I like it because I recently had found Dave Matthews around that time, and some of his other stuff is like it's okay. Like it's all some of his stuff's all radio play, but this one album it had a completely different sound than all of his other stuff, and it just everything about that album was like talking directly to me, and it was like, dude, don't worry about it. It happens. Relax. Enjoy the unknown.
Wow.
What do you got?
Yeah, that was like deep from you, but the next one I don't really have an explanation, but it was an Alan Walker compilation, not an album, but it was his best songs. And at the time, he first showed it to me, 2019 Christmas time. And I remember the first thing we noticed was like the bass and like the dubstep was really good, right? It's just like the normal stuff.
Oh, because he's like EDM type.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then COVID happened, right? And like this was like all I listened to. Like I remember just but yeah, like playing the heck out of this. And it kind of spoke to me. Like there was a song called Dark Side because like, I was alone at like home.
Right.
Especially at like 2 a.m. and stuff, and you're up and you're like,
and the whole world's shutting down.
Yeah, will this get better? Like, or like, is anything bad gonna happen? Like, it was just really weird. Like, it made me feel a different way, especially with like the different dubstep sounds, like the beat drops and stuff. And like I said, the big thing with songs like that I have is like, if it gives me the chills, then like, it's speaking to me without directly speaking to me.
It kind of gives you that weird feeling that like
my body knows that like this is like,
or go like one step further and be like, the universe knew that you would need it at that moment, so they're like, we're gonna go ahead and inspire Alan Walker to make this song so that it finds you one day. Like the idea, like the journey that song took to finally get to you, because we never listened to the radio. That was the weirdest part about it. We always podcasted in the car. Like we always listened to podcasts in the car. I never listened to music. And then for whatever reason, we were like,
Alexander Hamilton and then Alan Walker.
That was so weird. I don't even know how I found Walker.
Kelly.
Okay, yeah, because she was like, because she used to be all like into like the rave scene. Well, not the rave scene, but she enjoyed that music, the EDM music. And then, I wanted to like the things that she likes, and then we fucking fell in love with it, man.
And like especially Lonely with Stephen Aoki, I remember just like the beat went so hard, and like it was just so fun listening to like the songs, and it was like kind of an emotional roller coaster. And then like the song like Lily, I think it's just called, talking about like this young girl in her journey, like something bad happened, and you can tell something bad happened by the slow start, and then it gives you a thriller in the middle. And like I said, like I like a song that makes me feel emotions, and you get that out of like a lot of Eminem songs.
Okay. Is there any one in particular that kind of gets you there?
Probably Sing for the Moment. Like it's a very inspirational, motivational song.
That one came out of the movie, right? 8 Mile?
No, that's Lose Yourself.
Yes. And which one did you say?
Sing for the Moment. It's the Aerosmith song. With the,
yes, okay. Same time frame-ish. I think they came out.
Lose Yourself's like I listened to it and I'm like, wow, it's a good song. But Sing for the Moment spoke to me.
Is that the one he did with Elton John?
Yeah. No, that's Stan.
Oh, that's right. Man, I sound like a fucking. I sound lame, dude. Okay.
And then, but like,
shut up, Dad. You're not even cool.
but then like I remember listening to like Sing for the Moment, and I was like I want to know what it's like, feel like when I'm at the top. Like, he talks about like singing for the kids that like they didn't have a thing, and like saying that he wants them to feel good and like have something to listen to. But for me, it hits like I'm doing all this hard work to be number one, to be at the top. And I told one of my junior high wrestlers this past weekend, like, nobody's better than you. You're the best, because if you have that mentality and you have that mindset, I'm being so serious, you don't lose. And the only time I lost, and I thought of that song, was at this one tournament, and it like the song makes you feel like you're in a movie, almost like that tournament you had to lose to kind of say something to you.
Yeah.
And it was a tournament you were at, and I feel like me losing that tournament motivated me more to get better than it would have if I won. And the entire time I was like, I'm gonna win the whole effing thing in my head, and like I had that level of confidence. And then even after second, you feel relieved because you feel like you still did great and you did amazing.
Right.
And I want the kids that look up to me to feel the exact same way I do, and saying, even if I lose, I'm still proud of myself. And that moment of like, even if I'm not on top now, think of next year.
Right. Well, and then like it's kind of too, like, you can't poop on second place. Like, second place is still kind of a win. Like you worked hard, you did well, and then you played, like, you wrestled well, and then you placed well. So like, even though you didn't take the top spot, like, that's still kind of a win, right? Like, you went out there and tried versus some of the kids who don't try.
Because before I didn't place in really any tournaments, and I kind of said in my head, you have nothing to lose. And like, and then after that, I kind of thought, I'm like, I did have nothing to lose. But what's the matter with second place? No one's gonna be mad at me.
Right. It reminds me of advice. This was on one of the socials on the Instagram. I posted a question a couple of weeks ago. What was the best piece of advice someone gave you? Mine, similar, maybe ish, similar to yours, is you don't have to tell people you're good. Like, I know I'm good. Like, it was back when I was bowling, but I always felt like I needed to show off in front of the pros. Like, I would see a couple of the guys on the lanes, and I always get a lane right next to them just so I can, like, kind of show off and, like, get really cocky about it. But one of the guys pulls me out to the side and was just like, hey, man. It's like, yeah, you're good, but you don't have to tell people you're good. And from then on, and definitely in bowling, even now, rarely do I ever get really cocky about playing games. Like, every once in a while, like when you and I play, like, I'll talk some mad shit and like whoop whoop, but it's kind of like ironically, because I try not to tell people how good I am at like certain things. Like when I play Pokemon Go, like, I know I'm really, really good, but I don't, like, I'm not out there like trying to flex on everybody. I do wait for them to say something, but if they want to compare, then I'll flex. But I'm not walking around.
Or when someone's flexing too much, you're like, oh, I have.
Oh yeah, put them in their place. I like it. Is there any soundtrack? Like, if you had to have a soundtrack of your life.
Life is Strange Before the Storm.
So your life has a soundtrack. It would be Life is Strange Before the Storm. Because that's kind of emo-y.
Yeah, I know. Not really. There's like a lot of ups and downs in those two, though.
Yeah. I can see your life looking like one of the Rocky soundtracks.
Oh yeah.
Like Rocky 3, or even probably more of a Rocky. Like right now, your life would be more of a Rocky 1.
Oh no, I'm Rocky 2 right now.
Oh, you're Rocky 2 right now?
Mm-hmm. I was the underdog. No one believed in me. Now, I'm going to all these big tournaments.
Okay.
People are starting to believe in me.
Okay.
Watching-
So last year was Rocky 1.
Mm,
A little bit like new. I'm experienced. Like I'm
I'm
trying something out.
experienced, but not there.
Yeah. And now you're just like straight up like, yeah, I went toe to toe with
When I
the
got
best.
second at freestyle state, that was my Rocky 1 moment. But then
Oh, are you excited at all? Like, could you see that kid again in the finals this year?
yeah. But the kid I wrestled at Terminator,
Yeah.
I can't wait to wrestle him again. It's a different story this time.
Oh.
I plan on picking him up and saying no. No, I hate to sound cocky because you have mentioned it before. And I'm trying to be a little more self-conscious and like, you know, I've not gotten first place at like a state tournament yet. I got nothing to talk about, like or say. But like I said, if you have the mentality, if you're the best, you're gonna. One of my other coaches, my club coaches, said, if you believe in something in your head, say it out loud, speak it into existence. Like I always say out loud, like right now, my goal is not to be a state champion. My goal right now is to be a leader and to have people follow me and think of me
Just bump that shit,
as their
dude.
leader.
That's
Because
awesome, dude.
3 years in, I'm not going to be the best. Like I'm literally a freshman.
Right.
And as of right now, I believe in myself. If I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll be varsity this year. But as of now, I kind of want to feel like the underdog. I want to be like the kid that, like, someone thought they couldn't, that wasn't good enough, and like,
because your body's still developing to like, so like 3 years from now, like you're going to be a fucking, like right now you're a beast. Like I mentioned, you lost some weight. No one sees it, but on the Whimsy with the Z, he's flexing. Like that's only going to get big, like better as you know, over the next couple of years.
Another thing that I say, losing is just a motivation to me. Losing does not matter to me. All losing does is motivate me to be better and to say, hey, these kids have been wrestling their entire life. I've been here for 3 years and I'm already caught up.
Right.
And it motivates me and makes me believe in myself even more. And the motivation that like happens when like people talk, especially when people talk down on me, like I love it a lot. And like,
oh, that is kind of nice, because then you get to show them like you're completely wrong about me. It's like you are Rocky right now, because they're like, oh, he can't go fucking 5 rounds with the champ, and you're like, I'll go 5 rounds, and I might not win, but I went the full match with you.
And I'm tired of people who've been wrestling the same time as me, and you know my coach is saying like they're better, you know they're more experienced, and he's like he looks up to them and thinks that they're the best, and I've kind of literally like stopped talking about how good I am,
right,
and saying my skill, and I've tried to develop into the more leadership role and to have people look up to me,
right,
because the one that I feel like I relate with most right now is this little kid. Like he's like literally a little kid. He's an 8th grader. He has red hair. He doesn't look like he is a good wrestler at all. Right? This past Saturday, he was a kid. I said like, no one's better than you. You're the best. He got second place too.
nice.
So,
on those kind of count, like, do you feel like that's kind of a win? Like obviously you didn't wrestle it, but do you still kind of count that as a personal win to see people that you're leading do well?
He walked off the mat, and coach said, "Good job. We got stuff to do." Right? I can tell he was obviously upset. I told everyone else to go away, and I had a heart to heart with him.
Nice.
I said, "Hey, you know this tournament? It says mid-season tournament. You had nothing to prove. Like when we get to basically their it's called EDCs. It's like it's their championship. When you get to your championship, they'll know who your name is, and they'll know that you're worked harder than anybody else. You went saw the wrestling camps over the summer. You worked harder, and just because you got second place doesn't mean anything. You're still the best. You know, there's off matches. Like even though you lost, you won. In your heart, I know you lost, and I said, I know we don't like silver, but it's gonna look even better when you have that gold when it matters most.
Right.
Because, you know, everyone's gonna be upset about losing, and I A big thing I've always tried to strive for is I'll never let losing be something that brings me down, and
You use it as a motivation for the next one.
and nothing that like sets me back. And I'm always gonna still be the same person and the same wrestler, even with winning or losing. I've never cried after a match. I've never cried at practice. Besides one of my first hard practices when I thought my coach was disappointed in me, and the emotions were high, and I just had to let it out.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I'd rather be an underdog than start off as the very best.
When you said the coach told you to say things out loud to you want to do that, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, why am I even gonna hide it? Like, we're in the car, we're car casting, and yeah, sometimes we will stop and Pokemon a little bit because that's what we do. What's interesting is I hinted at it a couple of times, and I'll go deep dive when we're at home. I'll let you ask me some questions about it. But right after I bought the house, I was 22, and I adopted a bunch of 18 and 19-year-olds just out of high school. And what we would end up doing, right, is I kind of took them under my wing a little bit, and because I had the house.
Hang on, this is just a thought. I love how we can compare a jock side to things. Like I'm a jock, like I do sports, to a kind of, not a jock. And like I'm not the popular kid. I like that a lot.
Yeah. Okay. But what we used to do was we had this motto back in the day, right? We were all like carpe diem, like crazy kids. But we were all like, if you think it and speak it, we have to do it. And we held each other to that motto for like 2 years. It got us into some trouble. Nothing crazy, but it got us into like kind of just really embracing life, which was kind of really fun for us. Because we would just we had mischief Mondays because I was working. And we would just end up finding ourselves dumpster diving somewhere, and just doing like this weird, like quasi like juvenile shit. But it also got me a couple of extra piercings. Like I got, that's when I started getting more piercings, is because I'm like, oh, I think I should get my ears pierced again. And they're like, well, I guess we're gonna have to because you said it out loud. Mm-hmm. And then. Like the idea that you take that mindset, if you think it, you speak it, you do it. What's fun is if you say it out loud, it's just like what your coach is saying, right? Is like put it out there, and because we said it, we hold ourselves accountable for like if you thought it was a good idea enough to say out loud, we should just do it together. Yeah, it was a fun, really fun years. 21, no wait, hold on, it would have been 23 to 25-ish. God, those were the glory years, man. God, I had such a good time in those times.
Yeah, I'd like to think of right now as my glory time.
Oh man, and then there's like it's gonna be fun too when we keep podcasting, right? Get into your 20s, and you'll find like little pockets where you're like, well, that was the wrestling years, and then everything that you're going to learn now, you'll do to like there'll be the next like chunk of life where it's going to be like college wrestling, or you do wrestling and then you're like, I don't know, you get it back into baseball or something. But like it's going to be interesting to see like the different chunks of life and what you do with them, and then what carries over. Year over year. Any more raids on here?
No. But I feel like this is the beauty of car casting is that, we've said this before, many of our best conversations are in the car.
And that is, I was just thinking that is because we don't have we didn't write anything out. We kind of threw out a couple of ideas to get to here.
And I'd also like to say our best episodes are scripted.
Yeah, but I haven't scripted in a while, to be fair.
That's true.
I do. Once we kind of learned to,
Not scripts, but like we have a thing to follow.
like an outline.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It's kind of like it's the script where the script ends, and then like just after that, we can't poop all over the script because the script gets us to a fun place sometimes. But no, I do. It's a different vulnerable that we're letting people into our, because like these are the conversations that you and I originally wanted to record. Like these are the conversations that we had that got us thinking to first record in the car. And I have no idea what turn is your house. I don't know how to do it from this side.
T.
Is it the next one? Okay. I have to use my Pokemon map because that's the way I know how to do it. But yeah, I do like the CarCasts are going to be fun. We're going to probably end up doing most of these.
We should just get an RV. That'd be sick.
Oh,
They're
dude.
expensive though.
We do the whole setup driving. Like, how do you feel about live streaming this? Like, what if I learned how to like live stream this, and you just like hold it on my face the whole time?
I don't like live streaming in the car.
Okay.
If we got an RV, yeah.
I want to sit and relax.
No, but like think about it. We could literally do it anywhere. We just have to like go in the parking lot.
Well, what's nice about this, right, is I have 2 recorders because like I worried last week when I got home. What do I do if it didn't record or I can't get it like copied over? So there are technically 2 recorders. One is a kind of a backup, and then the other one is like also because I want to play with the different recording quality. I want to see if one records better than the other. I think one's recording MP3 and one's recording a WAV file. I think WAV file sounds slightly better. But I think that was a pretty cool episode, man. I liked it. All right, you're finally home.
Yes. Didn't take any stops.
No.
Somewhere else.
Oh, we did the one raid.
Oh yeah, that's true.
All right. Well, you have a good night. You gonna fucking end the show? Whimsy.